Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 3 of our F125 My Team Career Mode. Yes, we're back today ready for the Japanese Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed that on the 2 videos that went live yesterday, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. The start of the all-new season, Australia was fantastic. Shanghai wasn't. we struggled a bit more out in China. Obviously, the first sprint weekend of the year, it didn't go exactly the way I wanted, but I'm hoping today, as we return to Japan, we can try and have a bit of a turnaround. Of course, if you're new, please do make sure you hit that sub button. We are trying to hit 150,000 on the channel. Also, if you want early access to all of the videos, make sure you click that join button. It costs just £1 a month. You get early access to all the videos, as well as a few other exclusive perks as well then. But yeah, as we head to Japan, of course, the first 3 Grand Prix of the year are all fairly tightly bunched. So we have got a few little bits and pieces that we need to get on with. As you can see, the relationship with our title sponsor has significantly strengthened. After recent discussions, we have secured a more favourable partnership, and a result, we've gained new benefits. Visit the title sponsor area for more details. You can see on the performance chart, we're still a little way away from the likes of Kick Sauber and Alpine, but I'm hoping this weekend we can try and obviously bring ourselves a little bit closer to those teams. We've got a few more upgrades in the works, but unfortunately no more available slots right now. I don't believe either, unless I can start I can start doing some developments on a few other parts as well. So as you can see, a few more bits and pieces all done and dusted. They will be on the car ready for Suzuka. We're still waiting on the new chassis upgrade, and then on the powertrain side of things as well, waiting a little bit longer for that upgrade as well. So I think if we head over to research, we may as well try and do some durability upgrades as well there. Normally I don't bother with them, but we've got enough R&D at the moment that I can't really do any spending with. In terms of other kind of upgrades we can do on the team, we might have some personnel upgrades. So the intranet has been sorted by the team. So if we have a look then what we can do with the drivers as well, there you can see, yeah, still not really talking to Isaac Hadjar by the looks of it. But if we can have a look at some facility improvements as well, I think we will go with a... what other options have we got? We've got an increasing amount of owner XP received from actions taken in personnel by 10%. I think we'll go with that one. And then on the corporate side of things as well, unfortunately we can't do anything at the moment because we're still waiting on that sponsor negotiation. So plenty of work going on behind the scenes, getting everything we possibly can done onto the car as well there. Any more research that we can try and do at the moment? I don't believe so. Yeah, we've got all of the slots completely full, so we'll have to wait on that one. But yeah, without further ado then, let's head then here to Japan.
A warm welcome, everybody, from a venue that has seen plenty of sensational laps over the years. Remember, Verstappen in 23, Vettel in 2019, some phenomenal pole laps. But whose will it be today?
Well, most drivers then back out for another run right towards the end of the session. We have joined them, but for the first time ever so far in this series, we might be able to make ourselves into Q2 then, nicking the grass on the exit of the final corner as we try and just carry as much speed as we can. But we need to try and get a banging lap here from Suzuka. We can find a couple more tenths if we do make it into Q2. It will hopefully give us something more to chase with a little bit more there. Bit of a wobble through turn 1. As we throw the car up through the S's there. Got to be so careful that you don't take too much grass. Otherwise it's going to throw the car off ever so slightly. But it looks like one of those Sauber cars. I don't know if that was finishing a lap or starting one. But either way there, still down the order a little bit. I mean, I just want to make Q2. I'd be really happy there. It's completely flat through the first deck. And there are loads of drivers, though, coming towards the finish line now. We dropped down to P13, but they might have just bunched up a little bit too much here. Is actually meeting the apex through the hairpin. That'll compromise your exit ever so slightly. Down to P14, P15. So we are right on the cusp now of whether we'll see Q2 or not. Just cannot afford to bottle it here. P16 now, so if anybody else is on a run and looking to improve, we need to do the same thing there, carrying nice speed off a spoon corner, but I think everybody else might have finished their runs here. The only one I'm questioning is Nico Hulkenberg in that Sauber, that is one position behind me right now, but through 130R we go, down in towards the Casio Triangle, braking At about 100 metres out there, tip the car through the first part, tip the car through the second. A little bit hesitant on the throttle on the exit. Will this be Q2? Yes, it will. P15. Well, there we are then. Max Verstappen, Yuki Tsunoda, fastest 1 and 2 for Red Bull so far early on. Of course, for Yuki, his home Grand Prix, a big opportunity to try and claim a race victory there. Hulkenberg did improve all the way up into P10 by the end of Q1. But myself, Pierre Gasly will make it through at the expense of Bortoletto there. No other major surprises out in Q1, though, I guess. But, I mean, a second clear of Hauger, that's pretty good going. Well, I certainly don't think we're going to see ourselves into Q3. Only one set of tyres as well, so we're just going to go hell for leather on our Q2 run, our one and only Q2 run. But happy that we get to experience the car in a second session for the first time. Hopefully we'll start seeing Q2 a little bit more reliably as we make our way through the campaign there. But in towards turn 1, of course, unlike Jack Doohan, I don't have to deactivate the DRS. That will do it automatically there. But annoyingly, we might have already ruined this run. Just trying to tip the car up through these next few corners. I guess this is a good opportunity to obviously just find out how much you can lean on the car early on here as well, avoiding that inside curve. It might be a bit more forgiving than what we saw on last year's game. Again, completely flat. Oh, through the deck. No. A little bit ragged through the exit there as we took a bit too much curve on the entry. This is turning into a very, very, I mean, Takuma Sato style lap, I think, at the moment, of maybe doing 110% and not kind of reaping the rewards. Ragged beyond belief so far around this run. Hulkenberg up in P12. I had a look at, obviously, the times relative to Q1. I think the only driver that we'd be quicker than at the moment is Pierre Gasly. But with all the mistakes we've made, we're probably a couple of tenths down on that time we originally set. Used plenty of battery, though, as we make our way down in towards the final few corners. What's going to be the gap to Hulkenberg? 3 tenths back from the German. But he is on like a 129.8 here, so hopefully we're still going to be fairly close. Get the car slowed down nice and early. Attack the curve through the first, attack the curve through the second. Get the power down off of the final corner. We use all of our available deploy. 30.2, P16. A little bit disappointing, but again, not the end of the world. And there we go then. Again, Verstappen fastest at the start of Q2, but Yuki Tsunoda, the home hero, will make it through. Ocon and Albon both seeing Q3 as well, with Fernando Alonso narrowly missing out by just 3/100ths of a second. Annoying, yeah, we lost out there. I think we could have probably got to about Carlos Sainz in terms of raw lap time, but I had a lot of fun anyway. And that's what matters. Let's head into the race.
We come to you live today from the Mie Prefecture in the south of Japan's Honshu Island for a race that has seen many title deciders over the years. Some simple, some controversial, but all contributing to a legacy that makes the Japanese Grand Prix an indispensable stop in any Formula One season. A lap of this historic racetrack covers 3.6 miles. It's the only time during the season that we race on a figure-of-8 circuit. And the drivers can expect some intense G-forces through the 18 corners on offer here as they experience some of the highest average apex speeds on the Formula One calendar. Keep an eye out for overtakes into the final chicane. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Piastri, Tsunoda, Charles Leclerc and Hamilton, Russell, Ocon, Antonelli and Alex Albon, Fernando Alonso, Hulkenberg, Carlos Sainz and Gasly, Voisin, Bortoletto, Liam Lawson and Ollie Behrman, Doohan, Hadja, Hauger and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today.
Well, here we are then, down on the grid, ready for the Japanese Grand Prix. Round 3 of the season, and the team originally are trying to recommend a 2-stop strategy here. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try and stick with the one stop. But we're going to start with the hard compound tyres, see how far we can take them, and then try and take a set of mediums to the end of the afternoon, of course. That worked well in Australia, when a lot of the AI were trying to two-stop there. The car seems to be a little bit quicker around Albert Park today. We've also been promoted one place, thanks to Lance Stroll grid penalties. So we're starting P15 ready for this one. But as we wait then on the grid, the 5 red lights here for the Japanese Grand Prix. It is going to be a very short hold. And lights out and away we go there, trying to avoid too much wheel spin off the start. Looks like Antonelli may be struggling a little bit there. But we're going to have a nice little avenue down in towards one of the Ferraris running wide. That's Charles Leclerc there, who seems to have had a little bit of contact through the first couple of turns. We will try and find a way around Pierre Gasly as we make our way up and towards the S's, but not the start Leclerc would have wanted then. Losing a few places there, even under pressure from Nico Hülkenberg, as Carlos Sainz, of course, his former teammate, gets a little bit off the line as well. We tried to go around the outside of the Spaniards. Nothing able to find the grip there on the exit of the corner, and we will lose 1, 2, maybe 3 positions. Trying to have a look back down the inside of Pierre Gasly into the very next corner there, but that will not work out well for us. So trying to capitalise off the start, unable to do so. We certainly will down in towards the hairpin as Liam Lawson, a very quick starter here, but of course on those soft compound tyres, he is all but guaranteed to be on the two-stop strategy this afternoon. As around the outside of Pierre will go as we make our way down in towards Spoon Corner on this opening lap. Just trying to dance the car between the curves on the entry and on the exit. As you can see the AI there just running a little bit wide as they try and carry the speed off of the turn. Lando Norris and Max Verstappen 1/1000th of a second in it in qualifying yesterday is all we have. Gasly having a look down the inside through 130R there. So yeah, one of the closest qualifying sessions we've seen in a long old time. But it is still Norris that leads the way at the end of lap 1. Of course, Canada, I believe, in 2023, where Russell and Verstappen actually tied for pole position. Oh, whoa! Carlos Sainz there, that gave me the scare of my life. Mechanical failure for the Williams, man, so that's going to promote us up into P14. But just as I got a little bit of a wobble out of Degner 2, it just met with a wall of smoke in front of me. We will survive it though, and well, looks like we've gained a spot then off the start. Another Mercedes power unit failure though. I think that's their 3rd so far this year. Well, the AI really do like to use a load of battery out of Spoon Corner here. I mean, it's the biggest flat-out section of the lap. But we're going to try and see then this time around if we can get a bit of a run on Gasly. I tell you what, that Alpine, it's actually a pretty good car in a straight line, despite its slight power deficit here. So yeah, we'll spot us though. I thought you might try and have a look for a move on Liam Lawson through the final couple of corners, but we will try and get the power down on the exit as Liam has to stay out yet another lap here. Really taking that set of tyres a lot further than he'd want to. Here we go then, trying to get a run on Gasly back into turn 1. Looks like Helga into the pit lane as well, just behind there, but around the outside of Gasly. Oh, gave him a little bit of a squeeze there. I thought he might back out. But hopefully Lawson here is going to be a bit more of a sitting duck. Antonelli, 3 seconds up the road. He's also on the hard, so he's doing pretty well. Well, there we got Hülkenberg into the pit lane as well. That is a very early stop from a set of the hard compounded tyre. Leclerc in, Ocon in, Russell in, Verstappen all in. So we are going to be out in a pretty good position here. And well, I thought that maybe quite a few cars were trying to one-stop this race. Now I'm not so sure. Well, now I'm just really interested to find out how high up the order we can put ourselves in this Grand Prix. As Antonelli in, Alonso in. We're going to be up in the podium places here. Only the McLarens still out there right now. And like I said, I think Oscar's already pit in this race. Lando Norris 21 seconds up the road. Verstappen is only 3 seconds behind me. But effectively, if, you know, everybody else is on a 2-stop, we are up into a net P3. No. Oh, just about able to hang on to it. I mean, yeah, so awkward when you get a little half spin like that. Verstappen would immediately go past me there, and Sonoda as well wanted to follow him by. I'm sure Yuki will be past me down the start-finish straight again. But just so awkward when you just have those little slip-ups. The tyres are definitely feeling very second-hand, and they're starting to look it as well. In this Grand Prix, what is the wear on them? Only 40%. Actually quite even wear across all four, which I guess is pretty good going. But yeah, clearly, although this circuit has been remodeled, still got to be careful with those curbs. Oh, it's again. Let's get another little snap, so that might allow Tsunoda now to get a run on me there, or we get a little bit tripped up. Kind of couldn't decide whether we wanted to go left, whether we wanted to go right. Either way, Hamilton even trying to have a look for it. Wheel to wheel, we will go with the home hero here. Tsunoda tries to have a look around the outside. Again, we will defend in through that Casio triangle. I'm not going to try and put up much of a fight back down towards turn 1. Which Haas car is that then? That's got to be Ocon, isn't it? Running up in a fantastic position right now as there goes Yuki. Lewis Hamilton, though, will not get close enough by the time we make turn 1. Well, there we go then. McLaren definitely trying to make a one-stop happen here. Oscar Piastri in. So I don't think he had pit before in this Grand Prix, or if he had, he's done a fantastic job to get to where he has done in this race, but make sure we get the car slowed down nice and tidy. Hang on a minute, we were right down the far end of the pit lane in Shanghai. Oh, and of course. Of course.
I know it's not ideal, but let's try and put it behind us now and get back into this race.
5.1 second stop then in this GP. That was not exactly what we wanted, and I think that's going to tip us right towards the back of the running order in this Grand Prix. Only 20 cars left in this race. A lot of them have still got to pit again, but we are now last. We were running in the points. We were running well in the points, and suddenly we're last in this race. At least we got much fresher tyres than everybody else, as Stroll still cannot find a way around Hauger. Well, if that's Lando Norris, has come back out in P3 in this race, right behind the Red Bulls. Like I said, we know they've definitely got to pit again. There is all Hauger. A little bit of a mistake just in front, but hopefully we can capitalise now and get a run on both Lance Stroll and our teammate back in towards turn 1. And try and box Lance in behind him a little bit. It's all Hauger deciding he wants to try and defend there, and Stroll might be able to follow me by our teammate there. They're going to still go wheel to wheel into turn 1. You could not attack that inside curve, but a cheeky double overtake then. And up into P18 once more. I'm okay with being last in this game, as long as it's only for a single lap. Isaac Hadjar then next up on the old hit list here, the sole remaining V-carb in this Grand Prix. Hopefully he's going to be behind us sooner rather than later here, as a lot of drivers opting for the softs. I just never would expect them to work around this circuit, but tucked up behind the Frenchman, of course, already in talks with him about potentially joining our team in the not too distant future, but around the outside will go. Annoyingly, I think, oh no, I did do that after the DRS detection point. So we will still have the DRS on him, as he's going to peel into the pit lane anyway. So I think we're going to see a load more drivers follow suit soon. Well, just like we saw in F1 24, then the tyre delta offset can be absolutely massive inside this game. An all set, a lot of soft compound tyres there for Jack Doohan, and we are closing in rapidly as he, Ollie Behrman, Gasly and Bortoletto all in a bit of a train. Bortoletto and Doohan will opt to back out of it. Albon also into the pit lane, so we're almost back up into the points. So I think obviously Hulkenberg and Antonelli still need to pit again as well. Points might genuinely be possible. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Round the outside of Gasly, up through the S's. Surely not. Nope. Pierre there absolutely serving me the hard shoulder through that corner. I mean, we were optimistic to even try and go for it, but he is struggling so badly. Got to be into the pit lane at the end of this lap there as well. Again, Gasly. It's a big old slide down the inside in towards the hairpin. Oh, we wanted to turn in there, but just spotted us on the inside. We will get the power down nice and easy on the exit. Well, there we go, Behrman in, Hulkenberg in, everybody in late on in the day, including, I believe, that's George Russell again there. So Kimi Antonelli, I think, is still yet to box. And I mean, look at that. We were out for about 5 laps. I know Hamilton was on older tyres, but he's barely overcut us in this Grand Prix. And up there back into the points once more. I mean, we've just got to start counting the laps down. But, of course, now we're going to be at a huge disadvantage against the AI again. And there we go again. Another lap, another load of more cars into the pit lane. The big one I want to be ahead of here is actually Esteban Ocon in that Haas car. Sure it's quite going to happen though. Yes, it is actually. So there we go, up into P6 of this race. I think now basically everybody is pit though. So this is what we're trying to defend towards the end of the GP. There's 3 cars not that far behind. I believe it's Alonso running in 10th. That's the one we're really focused on. see then this time around Esteban Ocon maybe just biding his time a little bit more as we make our way through 130i. I think he's just realised better just to stick behind and have the DRS back in towards turn 1. Of course, Suzuka won a very few circuits now in Formula 1 with just the one DRS zone. George Russell as well, waiting in the wings just behind him. There goes Ocon round or outside in towards turn 1 there. Kimi Räikkönen-esque in towards that first corner. There's completely bobble out over that curbing. Some of the curbs around here absolutely punishing. And while Russell and Leclerc will both slip by, we've got 3 seconds back to Antonelli. That's what we need to hold on to. Ooh, yellows, we've got yellows. Oscar Piastri. Oscar Piastri, I hadn't even noticed on the mini-map. But the McLaren man dropping out then of the Grand Prix, and well, we're back up into 8th place then. So McLaren as well, nobody is safe from reliability issues so far this year. We've seen a Red Bull, we've seen a Ferrari, we've seen a Mercedes, we've even seen now a McLaren as well drop to the wayside in a Grand Prix. So, well, I guess that gives us a little bit more breathing room as Antonelli still 3 seconds back, 2 laps to go. Surely we're not actually going to bring this home. As we round the final few corners then to start the last lap of the Japanese Grand Prix there. Definitely don't want to miss my braking point too many times before this race is done and dusted.
Final lap of the race.
Lando Norris though comfortably out in front in this race up to this point and looks set to claim his 2nd victory in a row after Max Verstappen outclassed McLaren are back in Albert Park since then. I mean, Verstappen was going to win Shanghai and probably had the pace to win here, but a 2-stop strategy for Red Bull. It's pretty much only been myself and McLaren that have attempted the 1-stop today, but as Fernando Alonso is still reeling me in towards the end. Will it be 8th? Will it be 9th? Could it even be 10th? I'm known for being a bit of a bottle job, so I'm trying super hard as always, just not to make a mistake on this last lap of the Grand Prix though. But for Lando Norris, I think ultimately he was the class of the field today anyway. He and Oscar Piastri looked rapid right from the offset. So, you know, for him, it is going to be a critical victory there. Lando Norris extends his World Championship lead at the top of the table. It looks like Red Bull, though, are going to bag a double podium this weekend. So Yuki Tsunoda in front of the home crowd. I'm going to run horribly wide through Spoon Corner. Probably so careful of a couple of the curbs around this venue. And Alonso now is going to be breathing down my neck in towards the final few turns. Just drain all of the available battery we've got left. But for the first time this season then, in just our 3rd ever Grand Prix, the 1-stop strategy has worked today. And as we make our way out of the final corner, I was not expecting this coming in. P8 and our first ever points.
Here's the checkered flag. The fans rise to their feet. It's Lando Norris for victory.
And it's always good, Crofty, to get that momentum on your side, and it's really good for your confidence as well. The more confident you are, the further that can take you.
Our winning drivers are on their way to the podium right now. It's been a fantastic race for McLaren, that's for sure. And no doubt, they'll be celebrating tonight.
Well, in this ground effect era, a 15-second race victory is pretty good going, actually. Lando Norris, though, like we said, the only other driver inside your top 10 to try the 1-stop strategy. Oscar Piastri didn't retire. He kept going in this race. I could have sworn that car had broken down. That's rather impressive from him there. Verstappen comes through for P2. His teammate, though, Tsunoda, in front of the home crowd, will bag a very popular podium in P3. Hamilton ahead of Ocon, Russell, Leclerc, myself, Alonso and Antonelli inside your top 10. And Hulkenberg, the 2nd weekend in a row, where he will finish P11. I genuinely think we could see every single team score points throughout the course of the campaign there. Piastri, like I said, I thought he was gone, but he didn't. He finished in P12 there, so it was just Lawson and Carlos Sainz that failed to see the checkered flag. Annoying for Hauger, didn't quite have the pace towards the end of the afternoon. Once Stroll got by, he was just a little bit disconnected from the rest of your order there. Norris, though, 29 points clear now of Yuki Tsunoda, who's up into P2. 1 point ahead of his teammate Verstappen. Leclerc in P4 ahead of Hamilton. Oscar Piastri down in P6 there. But like we said, with our first points of the year, we stay in P4. We move back up into P14 there. But happy that we have got the team off of the starting blocks. Constructors-wise, McLaren still with a 15-point buffer ahead of Red Bull. Ferrari still in P3 ahead of Mercedes. Williams, Haas and Aston Martin tied on 10 points apiece. And we are now just 2 points behind Alpine there in P9. So, of course, yeah, Haas, was that their first points of the year? I think it was, wasn't it? Ocon there, a huge haul of points to kickstart their campaign as well. But thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready for the Bahrain Grand Prix back in Sakhir. That'll be going live later on today. You guys do not want to miss it.